So here she is, Reba McEntire!
Welcome to the last show of season 3.
Hey, Robbie. Go to the store and get me some more beer.
She doesn't take anything for granted. She puts in the effort.
I'm gonna go work now.
Reba is the hardest working woman in show business. You come back from hiatus and everyone says what they do and, oh, I made an album.
We are in Houston, Texas.
If you're going to do a job, do it. And do it to the best of your ability. You got to give 110% all the time.
There is nobody more deserving of the Johnny Cash Visionary Award than Reba McEntire.
Man, that's the icing on the cake.
Good morning. How are ya?
We do Reba over a 5-day schedule, and we start our week with a table reading. The table reading is where we read the script top to bottom and actually do it as a little performance in front of the writers, producers, studio, and network.
Welcome to the last show of season 3.
Morning, Robbie. Whoa! Did you ever think you'd say those words?
No, I did not. Okay, we have no guest cast with us. The last show and the first show are always the hardest because you just want them to be the best. You know, you're the start and the end. It's the things that stick with people. You can't just go, well, we kind of missed on that one. You gotta hit. It's gotta work.
Hey, Mom, how was work?
Remember when I only had to work till 3 o'clock and I'd come home and you'd say, hey, Mom, how was work? And I'd say, horrible.
Yeah?
Well, now that Eugene is forcing me to work till 7, how do you think work was?
Horribler.
Yes, horrible.
This episode resolves a couple of elements that we've had going through the show during the course of the season, which is called a seasonal arc. What we did in the beginning was we had 3 stories that kind of pointed towards this thing, which is primarily a relationship between Reba and her ex-husband.
Mom? Well, you'll never guess what.
Tell me what?
We're getting our own apartment. You know, if you think it's a good idea.
Mom?
Barbara Jean, I'm serious. It will never be a good time for me to try to convince my ex-husband to have another baby with the woman he left me for. That would be weird even for this family.
Wait a second here. You took my advice and talked to Eugene, didn't you? Come on, admit it.
Okay, yeah, I did.
I knew you would, and when he realized you're not going to compromise on one of your core issues, he caved, right?
He fired me.
Following the table reading, we will have a note session with studio and network.
All right, what do you got for us?
It kind of feels like we have this act out of Reba being fired, and it doesn't feel like, of the 3 stories, that actually feels like it's kind of the least emotional, that we're least invested in right now.
You're fired. You feel emotional now?
If somebody says to you, I don't get this in the story, you can't say to them, yes, you do.
If Reba truly loses her job, I mean, Reba would be losing health care benefits. She would be not knowing how she's going to pay the rent. There's going to be a lot of problems for this family, and it's not really playing that way.
The thing that I keep stressing on, and Narvel keeps stressing on, it's got to be believable. Our fans are not stupid. And they're going to think, well, that would never happen. You don't want to hear that.
Forget about the Reba getting fired story.
And when it got
a good complication to give her in the beginning of next season.
That's what I was thinking.
A good arc for her to struggle through some stuff.
We had some problems this morning, and I liked the script when I read it, and sometimes you have to hear it to go, yeah, it doesn't really quite. You know, that act break, I wasn't with it at all. Why wasn't I affected?
The only thing that I'm really worried about is getting too poor, pitiful Reba.
Right.
Because if I'm fired by Eugene, that's one thing, that's business. But if the kids are coming back saying, oh gosh, we can't move out because Kira left, Dad left.
Right,
Now,
I don't want to go that route.
All the audience is going to go, oh, poor Reba. Then it's going to get real maudlin. It's going to get real sad.
Part of the business is knowing you can fix it. Is having the courage to say, yeah, this doesn't work, so we got to tear it all apart and put it back together again.
Thank you. Great show.
Thank you.
Wednesday after table, we go back to the writers' rooms, figure out what it is that we have that works. Then we figure out what doesn't work, and then we try to structure that.
It felt like there was a lot more to play with Van, feeling like suddenly he has authority in the household. I don't know if it's enough, though.
At the same time, following the note session, we begin our rehearsal process.
What did you call me?
Reba. And look, if I'm going to be the breadwinner around here, I don't think it's right for me to be calling you.
Sit and enjoy your throne. Put your feet up, you know.
Look,
Have a seat.
Look, if
You're
I'm going
king
to
of
be
the castle now.
breadwinner around here, I don't think it's right for me to be calling you Mrs. 8. Oh, and speaking of bread, I'm cutting down on my carbs. You could plan that next week.
Speaking of bread, Reba, can we add another Reba in here?
Yeah.
There's a lot of similarities between Reba McEntire and Reba Hart. Very strong women, very family-oriented, and used to getting themselves in a jam one way or the other.
I'm cutting down on my carbs, so you could plan that for next week's menu. I'd really appreciate that.
Well, sure, but I just have one question.
Yes?
Does Cheyenne have life insurance on you?
I think so, what?
Because you're not going to make it.
Great. Hey, Reba. I love that.
We'll probably tack it to be continued on this. We don't have to resolve the Van Cheyenne Reba issue here.
No, right.
You know what I mean? So we can keep that. I mean, at least it's a compelling thing so far.
We worry more about the broad strokes of the new stuff to put in. We don't worry about the finesse of it, just the broad strokes of it, because it's a process. It's a 5-day process. This is day 1.
She thinks that you think you made a mistake in leaving me, marrying her, everything. That's a direct quote. Go tell her she's wrong.
Well, I don't think I can do that,
And why the heck not?
because I do think I made a mistake.
I'm moving to Orlando.
Orlando, we can start a new life.
Yeah.
Will?
Yes.
Are you going up to Coxville?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I want us to hold on to this scene before they change it. Sometimes they change it when it's working. You know what I mean?
This one's really working. Take this one out of their book.
Yeah.
That scene out of their book, so they
Don't let
can't
'em
mess
change
with
it.
it. It's good.
Hopefully the script will read well tomorrow, knock wood. There's a chance it doesn't, and Friday we'll have to do this all over again. You know, we may go in and go, okay, well, look, there's a huge story problem. Let's fix it again.
Good night, good night, good night. Farewell. And that's day 1 of a brand new script. That's our final script for the year. Well, the 3rd season anyway. First day. And tomorrow we just do it all over again. So we'll see you tomorrow.
Does he love you? Does he love you like he loves me? Like he loves me? I didn't do.
Do your face more like that.
Does he love you?
Total Reliefs is brought to you by Whirlpool and Habitat for Humanity. Join us.